There are 5 things RX-7 FD owners only learn after it's too late, and every single one of them costs money. Here's the big one up front. The purchase price of an FD is the entry fee, not the price. $40,000 to $70,000 gets you a driver-quality car. Then the car tells you what it actually wants. And the number I'll give you around the middle of this video, the one nobody says out loud at Cars and Coffee, is what a Rotary rebuild really costs and how soon it can land. Stay for that. It changes whether you should buy this car at all. Start with the money because that's where regret actually lives. A 93 RX-7 stickered around 32 to 34 grand new. As recently as 2014, you could buy clean ones for 15 to 25,000. That era is dead, and it is not coming back. Well-sorted low-mile cars now push 80 to 100,000. R1s, R2s, and JDM Spirit R Type A's have gone north of 150,000 at auction. But here's the part buyers get wrong. They budget perfectly for the purchase and budget zero for the catch-up. Plan on 20 to 30% of the purchase price as a getting healthy fund, even on a car that looks immaculate. On a $50,000 FD, that's 10 to 15 grand you should already have sitting there before you sign anything. Where does that money go? A full cooling system, refresh, radiator, hoses, thermostat, water pump runs $1,000 to $2,500, and on this car that is not optional maintenance, it's life support. Turbo work on the factory. Sequential twins is $1,500 to $3,500, and OEM sequential hardware keeps getting scarcer. Then there's labor. Generalist import shops charge $100 to $130 an hour. A real Rotary specialist charges $120 to $180. You pay that premium happily because the alternative is a guy learning on your engine. Now the number. A quality stock spec Rotary rebuild, new apex seals, side seals, O-rings, machining, from a shop that actually knows Rotaries, runs $4,000 to $8,000. Go built with upgraded internals, a bigger turbo, and the fuel system to feed it. And you're at $10,000 to $12,000 plus. And here's the ugly part. A well-maintained FD might see 60 to 100,000 miles on an engine. A hard-driven or neglected one has needed a rebuild at 20 to 40,000. That's not a spec, that's a spread. Which means when a seller tells you the engine has plenty of life left, that claim is worth exactly nothing without a compression test in your hand. So test it. A compression and leak-down check costs $150 to $300. Healthy readings sit roughly in the 100 to 120 psi range per rotor face. A full pre-purchase inspection from a Rotary specialist, not your buddy's general shop, is $150 to $400. That is the single best money you will spend in this entire process. And if the seller won't allow a compression test or a specialist PPI, walk, not negotiate. Walk. Same for coolant and oil mixing, structural rust, or a hidden single turbo conversion with no tune documentation. Regret number 3 is the mod sealing, and it burns people who think they're being smart. Yes, a single big turbo on a built 13B will make 500 plus wheel horsepower. But you lose the factory sequential system's smooth low-end delivery, you gain real lag, and you inherit a tune that has to be done by someone who understands Rotary-specific fueling and ignition. Poorly executed single turbo conversions are the source of most of the horror stories you've read online. Engines killed within days of a bad tune. My position: if your tuner can't name 3 Rotaries they've mapped, you're not ready for that build. Do intake, exhaust, and a boost controller, and keep the money. And parts. Mazda's remanufactured 13B REW long block program is long gone. Atkins Rotary, Pineapple Racing, and Racing Beat cover seals and performance hardware, but trim-specific bits, certain bumpers, interior pieces, factory sequential turbo hardware, those come from eBay and parts out cars at whatever the market feels like charging. If you're eyeing a 99 to 2002 Type RS, RZ, or Spirit R, that's a JDM import, which means 25-year rule paperwork, title complexity, and a maintenance history you probably can't read. Regret 4. This is not a daily driver, and almost every owner learns that the hard way. 15 to 20 miles per gallon mixed, single digits on boost. Cabin heat soak that the factory AC loses the fight against in traffic. Rear seats that hold a jacket, a rear window you basically can't see out of. And the warm-up ritual, which is not optional because pushing boost into a cold Rotary is how apex seals die early. Flood it on a cold start and you'll be replacing plugs in your first week. Most long-term owners end up moving the FD to weekend duty, not because they got bored, but because babying a temperamental engine in stop-and-go traffic is a mental tax you pay every single morning. Regret 5 is the one people pay for twice: wheels. The FD came on 16s, some later trims on 17s, staggered, roughly 225/50 front and 245/45 rear. The problem is nobody develops fresh performance tire compounds in 16s anymore. So you go to 18s, you order a set that looked perfect in someone else's photos, and you discover rubbing at full lock, a popped fender lip, or a wheel that won't clear your big brake kit. Now you've bought wheels twice. That's why so many FD owners go made-to-spec forged three-piece from builders like threepiece.us, where you specify diameter, width, and offset around your actual setup, your coilovers, your camber plates, your calipers. Honest downside, custom forged is well into 4 figures per wheel. It's a deliberate budget line, not an impulse buy, but it beats paying for spacers and a second set. And while you're under there, the suspension is 25 years old. A full bushing refresh runs at $800 to $2,000. Quality coilovers, BC Racing, Feel, KW installed, are $1,500 to $4,000 plus. That stock-looking FD you bought needs both. So is it worth it? Yes, and I'll defend that. 2,800 pounds, 50/50 weight distribution, double wishbone front, and steering that people who've driven Supras, 300ZX, and NSX back-to-back still call the best of the 90s. No piston engine sounds or revs like a 13B. Nothing has aged better than that shape. Buy this car if you want a weekend car, if you have a Rotary specialist on speed dial, and if a surprise $5,000 to $10,000 bill in year 1 is annoying instead of catastrophic. Do not buy this car as your first sports car, as a commuter, or on a budget with no slack in it. The FD doesn't disappoint because it's badly engineered. It disappoints people who bring normal car expectations to an engine that demands abnormal diligence. Buy the maintenance history, not the car. Get the specialist PPI. And when you're speccing wheels, get the offsets right the first time at threepiece.us. Tell me in the comments, rebuild fun first or wheels first? I already know my answer.